Hey guys, it's Drew again. I decided I'm going to do a room tour video. Guys seem to love them. I like to look at them, and I thought, you know what? You guys are used to seeing this background here, but there's so much more in this room that I get to look at that you've never had the opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this camera around and let's do a quick tour. So let's check it out. So my room is upstairs, and on the staircase I just have a few things that are, just different things. It's kind of cool puzzle, some trips I've taken, different memories of stuff. That's where that was relocated. It used to be behind me. But one of the kind of cool things, my wife found that, and so I hung it up as we get upstairs. So the first thing to enter is I'll do a quick sweep around the room. This is the only window in the room, and it faces south. There's no direct sunlight. But as I do a quick sweep, you'll kind of see just a general idea of what it looks like. So this was a loft bedroom. Originally it was like a teenager's bedroom. There's the chair that I do my videos in, the background you guys are familiar with. But it was a loft bedroom, and when we moved into this house, coming up on 20 years ago, this was actually where I kept a pool table, believe it or not, in this tiny little space. And it really wasn't great for it, so I eventually got rid of the pool table, but this became the baseball room, and anyway, it's a lot of fun. So here we go. We'll start in the corner and kind of go around there. So here's some things that I have that aren't baseball related. I've never talked about them, but if anybody ever has heard of the group DC Talk, which is a Christian group, started in the 80s and 90s, I actually worked for them back when I was in college. So if you know who Toby Mac is, there's Toby when he was 19, and some signatures the day I met them. But anyway, it has nothing to do with baseball. So I've shown this off before, and this, but the cases that I built, when I talk about my 100 cards, it actually holds up to 120, and these are chronological, so you're going to go back in time. And as I gain a new card, one of these cards has to come out in order to make space for it. So that's the end case. So, I've got all the way up to my Ichiro and my Pujols rookies in there, but there's a cool Nolan Ryan display I made, like that. And then I've got this table, and this big space, I've got this Topps book open right now, the 56 set, but this is like if I'm showing off cards, in front of the camera, I'll set the camera up and do it there, but that's why that's kind of open. As you pan over, a couple of sets that I have, 71 and my 78 set, both of them very dear to me. This is all my TTM, and I did a TTM video last week on it, and this is all of my results. Different stories, different cards, different players, and just a lot of fun. So I'll spend more time showing that off. And then coming in here, here's some of my autographed baseballs, the TTM that I got, different players, and I'll come up. There's more of my ball collection. In fact, this is all that's left. I actually got rid of a bunch of them, but different guys. I haven't touched on them much. I've talked about that sign. I got that up in Cooperstown. It's made out of old license plates, and just love it. It was just perfect, and it just sort of matches the room. So I'm going to kind of come over to the corner, show off these other two cases. So these are the other two cases that would make up the three cases that I built, the other one down in the end of the room, and shows off, these are the cards that have made the cases. So you can kind of peek and see what I've got in there. I'm not going to highlight too much. I've talked about a lot. And there's reasons why I have these cards in here. Different reasons. I love the card, I love the set, the player, or whatever. And but I have another table, and these are the cards that kind of are my second tier. So this is just laid out again chronologically. I've shown a couple of these off and different reasons, but there's a nice span, and it's kind of cool. I like the feel of a card show. If people come over and they like cards, they want to look down. I mean, they're not in cases, but they're just on the table, and great cards, great players, and all that. And then these are my other three sets that I built. They're just kind of open right now randomly. There's a 53 Bowman set. There's my 56 Topps set. And there is my 63 Fleer set, which I still haven't done a video on, but I'd like to. I've talked about this Pee Wee Reese display. You can see the ball. There's a bat that he used when he was a batting coach for spring training back after his career was over, his rookie card. This is a really cool case display that I made for it, and just love that. You can see different magazines and things displayed around. These are kind of ones that I switch on and off. There's the record, the Stan Musial record that used to be up behind me. There's my Clemente display, all of his playing days, tops, base cards, and my Koufax, which I've done a video on. So this, like I said, was a bedroom, and what I did to gain more space was I took the closet doors off, and I took this area, and I made this sort of my Griffey area, and it's just actually in the interior of what would be normally a closet. And I've got so much Griffey stuff. You know, the 90s were amazing, but they produced so much stuff, and people would always give it to me. And but there's all my Griffey stuff. There's a jersey, a couple of bats, one signed in the back, his Hall of Fame bat. This huge case, if you've never seen my video on this amazing monster case, holds 500 and something cards, or 300 and something cards in there. And go back and look it up. It's a lot of fun. They're my very first autograph of Griffey back from 1990, believe it or not. And just a couple of other cool pieces, drawing that someone made for me. This is only in here because I had nowhere else to stick it, but there's a cool photograph of the shot heard around the world, signed by Bobby Thomson and Ralph Branca. Both of the signatures have kind of faded over time a bit, so I keep it in here because it's kind of dark normally unless I'm making a video. And then back on this side, this is a cool brick wall, but there's my 54 Red Heart set, which I have done a video and talked about a lot. Love it. My really cool Carl Erskine display, again, really fun. Just the Stan Musial that I made. A little case with a yearbook and a cut signature from an index card. Just kind of cool. This shelf up here, it kind of takes some explaining. It's not anything to do with baseball, but you know, I was a manager for years and years, and I had a lot of teenagers that worked for me, and a lot of them would take trips, and I just asked them when they would take a trip around the world if they could bring me back a knickknack, something that's animal related, that is a keychain. And this is my collection of stuff, and they brought back some really cool stuff. Nothing to do with baseball, but it's just really neat to see. And I have so many memories of so many great kids that worked for me, and they're just different things from all over the world. I need to count up how many countries that represents, but some are stone, some are glass, some are wood, and just really cool stuff. Just a lot of fun. But down here is just a bookshelf. It's a crappy bookshelf, but there's my book collection. It's kind of hidden. That little table or case right there, that's where I pull out and prop up to make videos on. And this chair, you know, if you ever come over, this is the nice chair you can sit in. We can just sit and chat. It is ugly, but at least it's horribly uncomfortable. But anyway, it's just an old chair, and it serves its purpose. But anyway, there's just some cool baseball things that I've picked up. Different places. There's a gift from another YouTuber, so shout out to him. There's a really cool vintage iron backstop that I found at an antique store. Some photographs of Clemente that were actually purchased in Puerto Rico. And another bookshelf down below has got my binders of sets that these are like the sets I built in the 80s, and some of the other ones are not. I don't pull them out as much. And there's an old school CD player that I listen to, a jazz CD. It's the only CD I have out, and I listen to it when I'm in here. And just some other cool stuff. There's a really cool photo that Theo Clemente collector gifted to me, and you know, it's just fun to look out there. And that little box, that's my YouTube box. So like, as people send me cards, letters, just anything, you know, I put it in there, and it's a lot of fun just to pull the box over and flip through it and just remember, you know, the friendships that I've made in here. I've shown this before. This is something my son made for me, and it's changing colors right now, but it's actually 3D printed, and it's just a Griffey collage that he kind of made. I showed that off in one of my very first videos, actually, and I'll unplug it so you can see, but if I can do it, there. But that's what it looks like unplugged, and it's plastic, 3D printed, and depending on how thick it is, depends on how much light it allows through. He made the case for me, put an LED strip in, and just really kind of cool. Here's another one of my cases. They match the case like on the other side. This one's got my Musials up top, which you can see. And then the third row down is just other random cards I have. Every one of them has a story. You know, you may be like, why do you have a Fred McGriff rookie that's graded? Well, there's a story. A couple of autographed cards that my wife had gotten for me when we first got married, a Nolan Ryan and a Musial. Significant Signatures. I love that set. It's just beautiful. My Billy Shaw autograph cards. I've done a couple of videos on that. And my Sumo card. Definitely mentioned that one, and my Sammy Sosa rookie, and one of the most special cards in my collection. And then some Griffies. Here's the set of 3, all of them autographed. Another great story. A couple of those Topps art cards that they made a few years ago, and then some other autographed Griffey cards. And my first game used Griffey card that I ever got. I remember buying that on eBay. It was about $20-something, and it was back, I don't know, back when it started getting crazy. And I've talked about this this Reese display. There's a display I've not mentioned. There's another picture, and then another case. And this case has my Pee Wee Reese cards on the top 2, and my Carl Erskine cards on the bottom 2. Below it, this is a display case that I got that was being thrown away from a local sporting goods store, and I got it and I modified it. The glass is kind of in the way. I'll move it there. And it's just, when I find random knick-knacky kind of cool stuff, you'll see different videos, different things, I like to stick it in here and move it around, and there's just some really neat, not highly expensive, but just kind of cool stuff. But I've done a lot of videos and a lot of different items that are found in that case. And then as I continue to circle around, there's the chair that I'll sit in when I do the videos. These bats, there was another one, I'll flip around slowly without making you throw up. There's another one in between those cases. But these bats my wife gave to me. It was back before my 4th child was born. 3 kids at the time, and they're all vintage. I mean, they're Little League bats, but she bought three different sizes for my 3 different kids. And I just thought that was cool. So I made these little, home plate things and hung them up, and they just kind of fill her. My catcher's display, I've had a lot of people ask about it. I've talked about it before, but maybe I'll do a whole video on it. And then, of course, my magazine wall now. And you can see where I've made those little walnut shelves, and just a lot of fun. And then, of course, you're more familiar if you've ever watched my videos of that. And for those of you who don't know, although I've mentioned it before, this little display, every time I do a video, I change something in my background. And when I first started, people would say like, oh, this is different or that is different. Sometimes I'll get a comment from a YouTuber talking about this or that, and I'll stick it back there as an Easter egg. But it's just kind of fun. But if you look at any of my videos, the background is slightly different some way, somewhere. Here's my painted Griffey balls that my friend Jared did for me. And there's a case that you can't really see on video typically. It's just some more random Griffey stuff on the bottom. And the money, back when I was a retail manager, that's all money that came out of our cash register that people paid with. And there are silver certificates and silver coins, old stuff, and it's amazing what people would, dig out of a piggy bank to pay for stuff when they're really, really hungry. But that's what that is. So that's, just kind of cool. And then we come back to where we started. So there's the room. I'll kind of come on the other side again. I didn't mention it. My wife, that was my wife. She used to be a kindergarten teacher, and she had that really cool bubblegum machine. She gave it to me, and then she found these really cool baseball bubblegum balls and filled it up, and it's just kind of cool and classic looking. But yeah, they're terrible, so I would never eat one, even though my kids will ask for one every once in a while. But there's my room. There's the sweep. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if there's anything you saw, whether I mentioned it or not, maybe in the background and you want me to show it off, just let me know in the comments. And I'm happy to kind of take a list and sort of show off things. As you can see, my collection is varied, changed over the years, but it's been a lot of fun accumulating it. I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, you guys be good.